India are the world champions. 7 months after the heartbreak of the ODI World Cup final in Ahmedabad, Rohit Sharma and his team scripted a glorious victory to become the champions of the world. It was a dramatic final that went right down to the wire. But in the end, the men in blue held their nerves to end their ICC title drought. There were tears of joy and relief on the faces of the Indian superstars. Virat Kohli, who won the player of the match, he will not be seen in T20 eyes again. This is the last that we have seen of Rohit Sharma as well in T20 eyes. It's the end of an era for Indian cricket, but they have left on a high with a glittering World Cup trophy. Jasprit Bumrah and the bowlers once again put in a champion performance. Bumrah's name will be etched in the history of Indian cricket in golden letters. How often have we seen him come and single-handedly change the game in crunch situations? Then there was a man who was trolled incessantly over the last 2 months, Hardik Pandya. He put the proverbial final nail in the South African coffin to win the World Cup trophy. Hello and a very warm welcome to this special. Over the next 1 hour, we look back on the special achievement by the Indian team. They are the world champions. We'll get you reactions from around the country. And let me tell you, the country celebrated this win, have been celebrating this win since last night. There have been celebrations across the length and breadth of the country. We'll get you all those celebrations as well as reactions from the players. Let me also introduce our guests on the show. Jamie Alter, senior cricket analyst. He joins us on the show. There is Shekhar Luthra as well, who is going to be on the show. But before I get to both Jamie and Shekhar, Rohit Sharma's team ended an 11-year drought by defeating South Africa by 7 runs in a thrilling T20 World Cup final in Barbados last night, giving them their first ICC trophy since 2013 and second T20 World Cup title since the first installment back in 2007. The result extended the Proteas' 3-decade history of heartbreak at World Cups after Virat Kohli marked his final T20 international appearance with a vital innings of 76. And India's pacers, led by Jasprit Bumrah, they snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. South Africa appeared to be cruising towards a target of 177 with 30 runs needed off 30 balls with 6 wickets in hand and a rampaging Henrik Larsson striking at 200. But his wicket was the first of 3 to Hardik Pandya. That sparked a collapse that left South Africa needing 16 runs from 6 balls to lift a major trophy for the first time for India. That is when Suryakumar Yadav held on, arguably the greatest catch ever, taking a juggling effort just inside the boundary line to get rid of the dangerous David Miller, thus capping an epic comeback for India after the match, which looked like South Africa's for taking. India had 176 to defend after the player of the match. Kohli top scored with 76 of 59 balls, following a scoreline of 34 for 3 inside 5 overs, which included the wickets of Rohit and Rishabh Pant to Keshav Maharaj in the second over. Despite the loss of opener Reza Hendricks and skipper Aiden Markram to slip to 12 for 2 in their chase, South Africa looked set to overhaul a target of 177 after Klaasen smashed Akshar Patel for 24 runs in the 15th over, in the process getting to 52 of 27 balls and get the equation down to a very gettable 30 from 30 balls. However, once Pandya came back and found Klaasen's edge off the first ball of the 17th over, Bumrah took 2 wickets for 1 in the 18th over, and when Arshdeep, who took 2 for 20, conceded just 4 runs off the penultimate over, it left the Proteas to get 16 of 6 balls. Miller, who was on 21 of 17 balls, smacked the first ball of the last over, a full toss from Pandya down the ground when Sky pulled off a terrific catch at long off, taking the ball. Sky lost balance but threw the ball back into play before he tumbled over the rope and then pouched it again when he returned to the field. That was the catch that won India the match, as South Africa managed only 8 further runs to lose by 7 runs. This meant India became the first team in the history of the men's T20 World Cup to go through a tournament unbeaten. This sensational win comes 7 months after Rohit's team lost the ODI World Cup final to Australia in Ahmedabad, their only defeat in that tournament. This time, however, history would not repeat itself. Let's go across to Jamie Alter straight away then and Shikhar Luthra and get their reactions on this win. How big was this in the context of where India was, given that, they had been crossing that knockout phase stage but weren't able to win the final? Jamie, finally it has happened, and the way they won it in that dramatic fashion, it'll be even more special for all of them.
Absolutely, very, very special. And good morning, everyone. Because the match was in South Africa's hands, right? Heinrich Klaasen was striking at about 200. He'd just taken 24 runs off an Akshar Patel over. Only South Africa, Meha, could have gone from needing 30 of 30 balls. That's a runner ball, in case anyone watching has missed the context. And you have what? 6 wickets in hand. Only South Africa could have. We're trying very hard here to not use that C word, but how else do you describe this? Taking nothing away from how brilliant Jasprit Bumrah is. I mean, this is India's greatest, to my mind, India's greatest new ball bowler across formats. Arshdeep Singh, taking 2 for 20. Hardik Pandya coming back with a terrific redemption song. India were brilliant, and I think that is what defines this campaign. It's been a very tough World Cup for batsmen, be it that New York leg where every single team's batsmen struggled there. West Indies not. Yes, there were some high-scoring matches, but it's been a bowler-friendly wicket. So it should surprise no one that on the biggest day, it was bowlers who had the final say. And I'm just so happy that finally a bowler like Jasprit Bumrah is getting the kind of recognition, because I, for one, feel he's just really not valued enough by the wider Indian public.
The script couldn't have been written better, Shekhar. Just the way it all happened, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. Just think of it. Before the tournament began, there were a lot of critics, armchair experts who were sitting and who were saying, look, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma shouldn't be in this T20 World Cup side. And here they are. We saw what Rohit Sharma has done in the tournament, what Virat Kohli did in the final, and to end their careers, their glorious careers on a high with a World Cup trophy. The script couldn't have been written better as well.
Well, all is well that ends well. But good morning to everyone. But even before the game, everybody was talking about whether resting Yashasvi Jaiswal was a good idea or not. Whether make Virat Kohli a makeshift opener, whether that was a good idea or not. But again, the team combination was such that only one could have been left out, whether it was Virat Kohli or Yashasvi Jaiswal. And resting Yashasvi Jaiswal, I think was a better or the easier idea, I would say. But again, the way it all scripted, I think it's hats off to this champion player. Virat has done it. But again, the difference between the two teams was Bumrah. I think India had Bumrah, so India has trophy. And South Africa were lacking Bumrah, and that's how they again became the chokers. But before this game, I think it was the India who were choking, at the big moments in last couple of years, not the South Africans. It was a different side. Nobody had that kind of experience or losing, at the fag end. But again, this tag has again, stuck to them, and congratulations to India for that matter.
To think, Jamie, I mean, I know you said you're not going to use the C word, but I think we need to talk about that as well, because South Africa were cruising at one point. I mean, they had 6 wickets in hand, 30 were needed off 30. Heinrich Klaasen was striking at 200, and it didn't seem like Indian bowlers could have gotten a wicket. They had one Jasprit Bumrah over that they had to tackle at that point, and then, think of the next one as and when it was to come. But you felt like the momentum was with South Africa and they lost the match in those last 5 overs. Would you say they did choke, or would you just say, look, Indian bowlers were better, South African lineup was short?
No, it's a very good point that Shekhar sir has raised. See, there's there's a very, very fine line between choking and then saying that one team is brilliant. My point on this, Meha, since you asked me, is if you look at South Africa's, 3 decades of consistent pain, heartbreak, choke, whatever it is, right? Every single occasion, yes, a lot of their pain has been self-inflicted, but probably I'll estimate 90% of the time, it has been the brilliance of someone on the opposite team. And that's going to happen. When you choke, it's not like you just completely exploded. It does need a turning point. It needs a tipping point. It needs a drop catch. It needs a freak run out. It needs a terrific ball. So every time this team has choked at the stage, it has been the brilliance of someone else, which has pushed them into that very, very tough spot. So to my mind, yes, this unfortunately, with due respect to how brilliant Aiden Markram and his team was to get to their first ICC World Cup final, it is a choke. And we've probably seen more dramatic collapses or chokes may have before, but when you've finally managed to get to a World Cup final, when, as we discussed, when you're 30, you need 30 of 30 with Heinrich Klaasen, putting the fear of God in. I mean, Rohit Sharma looked like the match was done.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There was that one over of Jasprit Bumrah, which Ashwin referred to as the cheat code. I'll call it that phone a friend or that lifeline which you get. Yeah. Still, South Africa, to my mind, had no business. So when you're in your first final, when you have the great Indian team, and I'll agree with Shekhar, sir, they actually were the bigger chokers, given the fact that they have not able to win a trophy for 11 years. When you have that team sweating, and then you don't win, unfortunately, I will call this the biggest choke ever from South African cricket. And they've had 32 years of choking experience. So just shocking. I don't think any other team would have gone from 30 for 30 with 6 wickets in hand to end up losing by 7 runs.
Yes, and celebrations erupted all over the country after India won the final. All of last night, I think Indian cricket fans across the country have been celebrating this win. As we're going to take a short break as we go into it. Let's just look at some of those visuals. Those are visuals coming from all parts of the country as well. If we could get those visuals out and see how Indian fans have been celebrating throughout. This just goes on to show what this means, this win means for a nation of 1 billion. There were chants of India, India, and Rohit, as you just saw, among the fans. And they flooded city centers and squares in the cities, just celebrating what has been a phenomenal achievement by this Indian team. There were firecrackers that we could hear last night as India won the final. I'm sure you all heard it in your part of the country. So a wonderful moment for Indian cricket fans, for India, as India pick up the World Cup trophy. We'll take a short break and return with much more here on this show.
This is News 9 Live, India's only digital exclusive live stream. For the early adopters, bringing you the news 24/7. For the smart audiences on the smartest TVs. News 9 Live. Stream now on your smart TVs.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है मनी 9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
Welcome back to this special. India are the world champions, this after they defeated South Africa in Barbados by 7 runs. And With that, what we also saw was the end of an era for Indian T20 cricket, with Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma announcing their retirements from the format after India's win last night. Kohli came into the final averaging under 11 in the tournament with 75 runs from 7 innings, but on the biggest stage he delivered a fine knock of 76 of 59 deliveries in India's total of 176 for 7 at the Kensington Oval after India's 7-run win, which gave them their second T20 World Cup and first since 2007. Kohli was adjudged the player of the match, and while accepting the award, the 35-year-old stated that he was quitting T20 internationals. Kohli retires from T20I cricket with 4,188 runs in 125 matches at an average of 48.69, with 1 century and 38 half centuries at a strike rate of 137.04. He was India's leading run getter in the format before the World Cup began, but Rohit Sharma surpassed Kohli on his way to ending the tournament as the second most successful batter. Kohli was back to open all throughout the tournament, but struggled in his new, more aggressive role until the final against South Africa, where 3 early wickets forced him to settle back into a more traditional way he's batted over the past few years in the format. Not long after Kohli announced his retirement, Rohit Sharma called time as well during the press conference. Rohit ends his T20I career as India's leading run getter with 4,231 from 159 matches, apart from being the most successful centurion in the format with 5 centuries. He ends his T20I career as he began it back in 2007 with the T20 World Cup trophy. What a moment for these two legends. Let's listen in to Rohit Sharma after that great win.
मेरे को अभी किसी ने बताया भाई you started in 2007, you won the World Cup and you leaving the game winning the World Cup, so that's a tailor-made situation for me. Best मतलब मैंने start किया था जब पहली बार इंडियन टीम में आया था 2007 में. पहला मेरा चैलेंज टाइम पे इतने छोटे थे, 20 साल के थे, तो जो जैसे मैं अभी मेरे प्लेयर्स को यही बोलता हूँ कि अपना अपना जो रोल है वो करने की कोशिश करो. तो मेरा उस टाइम पे रोल था कि मैं तभी 5 या 6 नंबर पे बैटिंग करता था, तो उस टाइम पे एक फिनिश अच्छा करना बहुत जरूरी था उस टाइम पे हमारे लिए. उस टाइम पे 140 150 एक अच्छा स्कोर होता था, तो मेरे दिमाग में भी वही चल रहा था कि कैसे भी करके 150 के आसपास पहुंच जाए. एंड इवेंचुअली आई थिंक वी एंडेड अप समवेयर अराउंड दैट 150 के आसपास. तो इट वाज अगेन उस टाइम पे लर्निंग स्टेज था मेरा, सीख रहा था चीजें. एंड नाउ ऑब्वियसली जैसे मैंने बोला कि इट्स कम टू अ फुल सर्कल. आई अंडरस्टैंड गेम मच बेटर नाउ, having played the game for so many years, so it's been brilliant. I think it's a big challenge to play all 3 formats and let alone captaining it. I think हमारे लिए भी प्लेयर्सों के लिए भी बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है क्विकली अडेप्ट करना. टेस्ट मैच जब आप खेल रहे हो, आपको थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल एस्पेक्ट्स पे अपने गेम, अपने बैट्समैनशिप पे काम करना पड़ता है, ध्यान देना पड़ता है. T20 में जब आप आते हो, आपको अलग अलग तरीके के शॉट्स खेलने पड़ते हैं स्टार्टिंग से ही, क्योंकि मैं ओपन करता हूँ. तो अपना अपना एक चैलेंज है फॉर्मेट में, और ऐसा चैलेंज, ऐसा फॉर्मेट, डिफरेंट फॉर्मेट खेलने में मजा भी उतना ही आता है, क्योंकि एज अ स्पोर्ट्समैन व्हाट वी वांट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इज चैलेंज. और कैप्टन में नहीं, और कैप्टन में भी ऑब्वियसली है. मतलब टेस्ट मैच में आपका प्लान सेट है, फील्ड सेट है, बॉलर्स आते हैं, काम करते हैं, एंड देन यू मूव 1 or 2 फील्डर्स हियर एंड देयर एंड यू प्लान टू अ सर्टेन बैटर कि इस बैटर को ऐसे आउट करना है. बट T20 में गेम फास्ट चलता है, आपको फील्ड प्लेसमेंट चेंज करने पड़ते हैं, बॉलर एक ओवर डाल के फिर दूसरे बॉलर को लाना पड़ता है. तो मजे, यू आर अ प्रोफेशनल स्पोर्ट्समैन, यू हैव टू मैनेज एवरीथिंग अराउंड इट. और बैटिंग भी करने के लिए यहाँ पे बहुत मजा आता है. यहाँ पे विकेट्स अच्छे होते हैं, चैलेंजिंग होते हैं कभी कभी. तो यहाँ पे जब भी मैं आया हूँ, मैंने अपना क्रिकेट बहुत एंजॉय किया है.
What a performance, firstly by the Indian team, and also for Rohit Sharma. What a roller coaster of a ride it has been for him, in the way India lost the final in Ahmedabad just 7 months ago. You remember him disappointed, emotional, and then contrast that to this win for Rohit Sharma, and the legacy of Rohit Sharma now as he wins this trophy, the captain of this Indian team, and the impact that he's had on this team. We'll talk about all of that after this short break.
When we talk about India, unfortunately the country has the highest burden of road crash fatalities.
तो लगभग 76% लोग पेडेस्ट्रियंस और टू व्हीलर वाले हैं जिनकी डेथ हुई है.
What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
Welcome back. Indian captain Rohit Sharma has already said that this is his greatest achievement ever, and he says that he wanted this trophy badly. And he's seen the best of times and the worst of times in the last year or so. In the way India dominated in that ODI World Cup, went all the way to the final and then lost to Australia. So, given the kind of environment that he's created in that dressing room, the vibe in the dressing room, I think a lot of credit needs to be given to Rohit Sharma as well, to make everybody, including the senior players, feel comfortable under him. And I think that will be his legacy, Jamie, when he leaves and, you know, as he retires from T20 eyes. I think all of us can just say that he was a good guy. Everybody loved him in the dressing room, and the kind of comfort they felt around him was one of the main reasons why this team was able to achieve this remarkable feat.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I think I'm probably most happiest for someone like him.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean it's a team sport, and even last year in the One Day World Cup, a lot of players, a lot of key elements were responsible for India getting to the final. But it's that ability to, you know, instill belief, like you mentioned, also walking the talk. We just heard a few minutes ago, Rohit was talking about when he first came into the T20 side, teams were not sure what a winning total is. It's these kind of learning curves, you know.
Yeah.
And it's probably not without coincidence that it was a Rohit Sharma who made his debut in T20s, you know, around the time that, in fact, when India won that T20 World Cup under Dhoni so many years ago. So the fact that he was there played a key role. I believe he got a 50 in his first innings against South Africa. You know, so it's that learning curve, winning 5 IPL titles, not winning trophies for India, experiencing heartbreak as a player and then as a captain. I mean, I don't think November 19th can ever truly be erased until India win the One Day World Cup.
Yeah.
But it's learnings like that changed Rohit Sharma. The 2022 T20 World Cup semi-final in Adelaide, when India had an under par score, when their batsmen were playing risk-free cricket, safe, conservative cricket. That was indeed the wake-up call that India needed, and I'm very, very glad to see that all the players bought into that collective belief that we need to up our game, we need to play more aggressive cricket. Yes, there were drawbacks. Virat Kohli didn't score any runs before the final because he was trying to be something he wasn't. But on the biggest day, when the top three didn't work out, it was Virat Kohli. His ability to fall back on that template, which has got him over 4,000 runs.
Yeah.
So that worked, and then you see Rohit Sharma. You know, it is a right time. You know, you always hear in sport that you should bow out on a high.
Yeah.
And after all the criticism, after all the heartbreak, what better stage for India's two greatest T20 batsmen, greatest. I think Rohit just gone past Virat for the most runs.
Yeah.
Very, very apt way for them both to retire.
Yeah. Also about Virat Kohli, and I think both of them, Shekhar sir, you know, you look at both of them and you say, especially after they won the title, you could see the desperation in those interviews. Yeah, both of them spoke about it. Virat Kohli said that, you know, it was now or never. Rohit and I have often spoken about it. Look, we need to win the T20 World Cup. And they knew this was the last chance that they were going to get. But, you know, how often have we seen a disappointing story in sport, you know, where you want to end on a high and you're unable to do so? For these two to be the legends of this format, you know, both of them have been scoring runs in T20Is. Both of them are top 2 run getters. For them to win it like this, for them to be part of this winning team, that's huge as well, especially even for Virat Kohli.
Well, I still remember 2004-5, when they were very young. They were not even playing under 19. They were coming into that, after under 15 and all. In Delhi, we were covering Virat Kohli very closely because he was termed as one of the, the future for the future. But Rohit Sharma was coming up very well from the Mumbai, and our friends from Mumbai used to talk about this guy that technically is very sound. I remember that covering 2006, if I'm not wrong, Devdhar Trophy in Udaipur, where the North Zone versus West Zone, and Rohit Sharma was very young. He came into bat. They were chasing 200 plus against a North Zone attack which had Ashish Nehra, Gagandeep, Punjab that time. After that, he came into play Indian side also. And then Bhandari and, good spinners, everybody. And he scored that magnificent 124. That was the first glimpse for me of Rohit Sharma. And I always thought, during that time, I wrote a big piece also for my paper that probably he's going to be replacing, Rahul Dravid, who is eventually your coach now.
Yeah.
So, after that time, it was not an easier time for these two players, if you compare these two journeys. Because that was the time IPL was coming up, 2007, after that, 2008, when the IPL teams were picked up. They were the hot stars. But again, they had to tweak their games, so differently. Because they were technically very good, especially Rohit Sharma never used that, bottom hand. He was technically more perfect than anybody else in India. But whereas, Virat was more flamboyant by then. He started, taking those risks. He started playing more aggressively. So I think the journeys of these two were very, very different, very contrasting, but they managed so well. And then Rohit Sharma got into the, background. He was not, that much a part of 2011 World Cup. Virat played his role. Rohit always wanted to get that trophy, again after 2007. Obviously, he was very young that time. He was not the mainstay of Indian team. But after that, when Virat became captain, Virat had a great aggressive captaincy, after that. He had a lot of controversies. He became a part of a lot of controversies along with Ravi Shastri as a coach. They both managed to get Team India to a different high. Rohit Sharma started playing his role very well. He was very effective. He was always been there in the limelight. But after Virat Kohli's innings ended, as a captain, I think that transition was there. From aggression to a calm, dressing room, from an aggressive approach or, showing those faces on the TV. I think Rohit Sharma brought in that calmness into the Indian team. And here is the result.
Yeah,
Rohit
absolutely.
has been very, very aggressive without showing his aggression on the face, whereas Virat had other things to play. So
absolutely.
I think a great
Two
journey
different
for both
captains
of them.
and two different captains, two different temperaments for both these players, but both have been legends for this Indian team. We're going to slip into a short break at this point, but as we go into it, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he congratulated the Indian team. He appreciated their efforts, on the phone today. He spoke to them, congratulated Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Rahul Dravid, Hardik Pandya for what they have achieved for winning the World Cup. Listen in to Prime Minister Modi as we slip into a short break.
इस भव्य विजय के लिए सभी देशवासियों की तरफ से बहुत बहुत बधाई। आज 140 करोड़ देशवासी आपके इस शानदार प्रदर्शन के लिए गर्व अनुभव कर रहे हैं। खेल के मैदान में आपने वर्ल्ड कप जीता, लेकिन हिंदुस्तान के हर गांव, गली, मोहल्ले में आपने कोटि कोटि देशवासियों का दिल जीत लिया। और ये टूर्नामेंट एक विशेष कारण से भी याद रखी जाएगी। इतने सारे देश, इतनी सारी टीमें और एक भी मैच हारना नहीं, ये छोटी उपलब्धि नहीं है। आपने क्रिकेट जगत के हर महारथी, उनके हर बॉल को खेला और आपने शानदार विजय प्राप्त करते रहे। एक के बाद एक विजय की इस परंपरा ने आपके हौसले को तो बुलंद कर दिया, लेकिन इस पूरी टूर्नामेंट को भी रसप्रद बना दिया, रोचक बना दिया। आपने शानदार विजय प्राप्त की है। मेरी तरफ से मैं आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं।
The confidence is certainly back in the market.
Do tighten your seat belt so that you can withstand volatility.
I have one humble request to all the viewers of News9 is that please don't go, there will be a lot of choppiness, there will be a lot of volatility. Look at long term, don't look at short term. Buy quality, don't buy quantity, and wish you all the very best.
हमारा टाइम आ गया है और रहेगा।
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है Money9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
When we talk about India, unfortunately the country has the highest burden of road crash fatalities.
तो लगभग 76% लोग पेडेस्ट्रियंस और टू व्हीलर वाले हैं जिनकी डेथ हुई है।
While the highways are getting better in India, the local roads, the city roads, the town roads, these need to be improved.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
Why is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
Welcome back. In a World Cup dominated by bowlers, it was fitting that Jasprit Bumrah was declared the player of the tournament for the Pacers' role in bowling India into the final, and then his excellent performance on the day to help turn what looked like a certain defeat into an epic victory cannot be underlined enough. Bumrah, who missed the previous T20 World Cup in 2022 because of injury, ended the tournament with 15 wickets at an average of 8.26 and a mind-boggling economy rate of just 4.17. He started India's campaign with back-to-back Player of the Match awards in New York and then sustained his brilliance when the team shifted to the West Indies. His role in the semi-final win over England was solid, but what Bumrah did in the final against South Africa, that was unreal. He bowled a peach of a delivery to clean bowled Reza Hendricks in his very first over. Then he came back to concede just 6 runs across the 16th and the 18th over while taking out Marco Jansen to finish with figures of 2 for 18. Indeed, it was that 2-over spell which dragged India back into the game, and his superb effort ended up coming in a famous win. This is the 30-year-old's first ICC trophy win and takes his T20 wicket tally to 89 after 70 matches, which places Bumrah at 3rd for India. Overall, just 1 shy of drawing level with Bhuvneshwar Kumar and 8 away from going past teammate Yuzvendra Chahal. But how special was his spell? Let's go across to Shekhar sir, just to see how brilliant Jasprit Bumrah has been, sir. I think when we talk about this Indian team's dominance in the last few years, I mean, we've got to talk about Jasprit Bumrah and his bowling and the difference it makes. He is the first name on that team sheet, and to have that kind of impact in a team where you have legends like Virat Kohli, you have legends like Rohit Sharma, that's huge. That shows he's been your biggest match winner.
Well, I never saw Mike Proctor bowling, on the wrong foot. And the moment I saw Jasprit Bumrah, watching a game closely in Delhi, I think first time I saw him in IPL, I only had to say, don't waste time on him. He's not a kind of bowler who could, last longer. He could be there for 1 or 2 seasons, and that's all. And just for IPL, he can never play for India. That was my first, thought about Jasprit Bumrah. But I think he has proved everybody wrong. From that, erratic action, from that, unorthodox kind of action, from coming from there and becoming the world's greatest, I would say right now, in all kind of formats. I think that's a tribute to this man. Because bowling with this kind of action, bowling with, such erratic kind of action, it is not easy for your body. Once you get injured, the real, I would say the real test for Bumrah was after his first injury, 4 or 5 years back. He came back successfully, and then, to retain this kind of fitness and getting injured in between. But again, the kind of performance he has shown is legendary. But one thing is for sure that he has got a very good bowling attack along with, the guys along with him. It's all about, that Kuldeep Yadav. You have to also mention his name. The way he has come back, because he was not being the regular in Indian team, everybody was saying that use him as a stock bowler, not as a regular bowler. But the way he has improvised himself, he has that class of Anil Kumble. Although the hands are different, but the way he's skidding the ball, the way he's, top spinner that he's using along with his Chinaman and other balls, I think that's been a tremendous performance from these two players. Arshdeep, I think it's a good learning experience. It's a good sporty role that he has provided, obviously. And Akshar Patel, again, he's been a revelation for me as a batter than a bowler. He's a calm bowler. He's a very cool customer. But again, as a batsman, the way he performed yesterday, I think that's been a great. I think he would be one of the, I would say, initial picks for any team in the future, that he's going to come as a pinch hitter, not as a pinch hitter. He's technically very correct, as a top batsman, and then later on used as a spinner also.
Yeah. I know that Virat Kohli won the player of the match, Jamie, but when you look back on this game, it was the bowlers who won you the match. South Africa were cruising till those last 5 overs. That changed the game. Jasprit Bumrah changed the game. Arshdeep Singh changed the game. Hardik Pandya won the game. So you have to put that in context, that a Virat Kohli innings was needed. He played the anchor role well, But South Africa were ready. They were looking to overhaul that target, and quite comfortably had Heinrich Klaasen been there or had David Miller been there. But it was the bowlers. And how often have we seen this with Jasprit Bumrah as well? His go-to bowler. It's like those 4 overs in T20 internationals like gold dust. You know, you use them very judiciously, but when you do, you see the impact, and which is what he did in this final as well. And to be able to hold your nerve, to be able to nail those Yorkers, it's extraordinary.
Absolutely. He gave 6 runs across the 16th and the 18th over. The 16th over is when traditionally in cricket we start to, the back end, the death overs. To come back with, as we've discussed several times on this show, Heinrich Klaasen, to my mind, the best middle order T20 batsman in the world. Yeah. What that man did, like I said, he put the fear of God in Rohit Sharma and the team, because he knocked Kuldeep Yadav out of the attack. He hit 24 runs off Akshar Patel. He was batting on, I think, 47 off 22, and they needed 30 off 30 balls. Yes, okay, chalo, Bumrah still got 2 overs. But for Bumrah to come back, Meha, in 12 balls in the biggest match, he's never played a final of an ICC World Cup. This is his biggest match. He was not there in 22 when England pasted India by 10 wickets. All that he's gone through to come back and across 2 of the most vital overs with defeat, staring India in the face, and to give 6 runs, including that 2 runs and a wicket. I mean, that ball. Look, Bumrah began by clean bowling Reza Hendricks with a proper test match length, and then he did the same to Jansen. That's why I mentioned early, it's been a tough World Cup for the batsmen. It's been a bowler-friendly World Cup, and make no mistake, it's the 2 teams that had the best bowling attack. They had pacers able to fall back on test match skill, test match level lengths. That's what ended up being the difference in this World Cup. And I'm so glad that Bumrah got the player of the series. And I'm actually kind of disappointed that he didn't get the player of the match, because yes, Virat Kohli played the anchor, but I think we can all agree watching this show right now that, Virat Kohli's innings would have been a footnote had it not been for the brilliance of Bumrah, Hardik Pandya, and then Arshdeep in that order. Bowlers got you to the final, not batsmen, and bowlers won you the World Cup as well.
And let's also talk about Hardik Pandya. This was a special day for him. He was emotional. He was one of the most emotional cricketers on the pitch at that point after India won, because it meant so much to him. Last few months have been hard on him from the time he joined Mumbai Indians. He's been trolled incessantly. He's been made fun of. He's been booed in stadiums. But Hardik Pandya was another player who delivered when it mattered the most. Let's listen into what he had to say after that win.
Feels obviously very, very special. I've said it multiple times before as well. This was a dream which I wanted to win. Someone from where I come from in my life, how life has been. This is something which was always a dream, and it's the feeling which I can't describe, because it has finally happened, and more so over when I know that when everything came down to me at the end. Just very, very happy for the group, and finally got this. Definitely, मैं ना बड़ा ग्रेस पे मानता हूँ सर. बड़ी सारी चीजें बोली गई, बड़ी सारी चीजें कही गई. किसी को 1% पता है नहीं हार्दिक पांड्या है कौन, लेकिन बातें सबने की है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. बट मैंने हमेशा माना है लाइफ में आप कभी मुंह से जवाब नहीं देते हैं. हालात और चीजें जवाब दे सकती हैं, और मैंने वही जब बहुत भी मुश्किल था, तब एक ही चीज मैंने खुद को बोली लाइफ में, ज्यादा देर तक नहीं चलता है. मैं ग्रेस में बहुत मानता हूँ. आप ग्रेसफुल रहे, हारिए जीतिए, ऊपर डाउन, अगर आप ग्रेस रखेंगे, आई थिंक इट इज टाइम फॉर our fans or everyone else to learn as well that irrelevant क्या हो लाइफ में, एक तरीका, I think एक बेहतर तरीका भी ढूंढना पड़ेगा अपनी कंट्री में, और I'm sure वो same लोग काफी खुश होंगे. If I be very honest, उस same time पे I think I was enjoying it, because ऐसे मौके लाइफ में बहुत ही कम लोगों को मिलते हैं, जहाँ लाइफ बोलते हैं ना, एक चेंज हो सकती है मोमेंट। ऑब्वियसली यहाँ ऑपोजिट भी जा सकता था चीज, वो मुश्किल, लेकिन मैं हमेशा आधा ग्लास फुल समझता हूँ, कभी आधा ग्लास खाली नहीं समझता। तो आई थिंक उस मोमेंट पे मुझे पता था मैं प्रेशर लेके कुछ फायदा है नहीं। प्रेशर आई थिंक सब बाहर ले ही रहे थे, तो मैं कोशिश कर रहा था कि अपनी स्किल सेट पे मैं कैसे ध्यान दे पाऊँ और एग्जीक्यूट कर पाऊँ, और इससे बेहतर मौका था ही नहीं। पूरे जो मतलब पूरा चीज जो होना चाहिए, आई थिंक इवेंचुअली केम डाउन, इट वाज रिटन मेरे लाइफ में। आई थिंक ये मोमेंट लिखा हुआ था, और बोलते मैंने पहले ही बोला था, लक हमेशा जो मेहनत करते हैं उनके ऊपर आता है। सो कोशिश की थी मेहनत करते रहूं, सब नीचे रखूं और हंसते रहूं, और आज एक और काफी लंबी हंसी रहेगी काफी टाइम तक। सो बहुत खुश हूं।
Yes, what a day it was for Hardik Pandya as well. Phoenix rising from the ashes after all that he's been through, to have come out stronger, to have come out better, and to have performed for the team when it mattered the most. A huge moment for Hardik Pandya. Now, all of us who were watching that game live, and I'm sure when you were seeing that, one thing that surprised us all is, where did the Indranagar ka gunda come from? That reaction suddenly from Rahul Dravid, Indian coach, showed what it meant to him as well. One of the nicest human beings in cricket, Rahul Dravid, for him to end his tenure as the head coach of this team on a high as well, that was wonderful to watch. Listen in to Rahul Dravid after India won the World Cup.
As a player, I was not lucky enough to win a trophy. But I tried my best. I gave my best whenever I played. It wasn't to me. That happened. It's part of sport. There are a lot of other players I know who have not been able to win a trophy. I was lucky to be given the opportunity to coach a team, and I was lucky that this bunch of boys made it possible for me to be able to win this trophy. And it's a great, nice feeling. But it doesn't feel. It's not like I'm aiming for some redemption. It's just a job that I was not doing. I've loved doing the job. I've loved working with Rohit and this team, and it's been a great journey, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm not looking for any game. I'm not a legacy person. I'm not looking for legacies. I just feel glad that we gave it the best we could, and it's not just me. I think I'd like to really just acknowledge the support staff that I work with, the coaching staff that I work with. I think I've been lucky to have a truly exceptional, professional, intelligent bunch of coaches and other support staff who have made it possible for us to create a fantastic environment led by Rohit. That has, I'm glad, with a bit of luck, resulted in this trophy as well. And I couldn't be happier for this team, and I couldn't be happier for so many of the Indian fans who keep coming out to these games. They keep supporting Indian cricket. They keep supporting world cricket, and you just feel so grateful that you're able to give them a moment like this and something to be really happy about.
राहुल सर, कुछ महीने पहले आपने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की भी आपने कहा था कि रोहित की क्वालिटी जो जूनियर्स हैं ग्रेविटेट हो। अब रोहित के साथ आपकी जो पार्टनरशिप खत्म गई, एक क्वालिटी जिसको आप याद करेंगे कि ये 3 साल मेरे साथ, वो चीज मैं मिस करूंगा, रोहित की पर्सनालिटी जो आपको काफी।
I just think I'll miss him as a person. I forget the cricket and forget the captain and everything. I just think I hope we'll still be friends. So I'm probably not going to miss that. But I think what's really impressed me, I think, in all of this has been just the kind of person he is, the kind of respect he's shown me, the kind of care and commitment he's had to the team, the kind of energy he's had to spend, and he's never backed down from it. So for me, I think it's the person that I will remember the most. His cricketing, he'll be a great captain, he'll be a great player, and he'll score runs, whatever, he'll win trophies. But I think it's who he is as a person that I will be most fond of.
Yes, they have collectively suffered heartbreaks, but here, at the moment when India have won, they're the world champions. You can see the emotions in Rahul Dravid as well. Well, he's much more calmer in that press conference, but after the game, he was aggressive, more aggressive possibly than Virat Kohli. Jamie, how special is this for him? And also, I want to take a reaction on Hardik Pandya and the redemption really for him in what he's gone through, for him to have come out of it stronger, shows the character, not just of him, but everybody around him as well, who stood by him, who took care of him.
Yeah, I think let's address the Hardik Pandya redemption angle, because I was very skeptical whether, after all the tough times he endured for Mumbai Indians, would just suddenly changing the color of a blue jersey bring back the Hardik Pandya we all know. I had serious reservations about that, but very, very glad to be proven wrong, and Hardik Pandya was able to put behind all that. I think he really held it together well while speaking to the journalists after the match with that trophy in his hand. Very, very important, only because, Meha, when he's at his best, there's no other all-rounder like him in the country. Can still get the ball up to 140, can hit the ball hard and flat, plays leg spin very well. So India needed Hardik Pandya, firing on all those cylinders to get them into the final. And he did a pretty good job. And then come the biggest day, he ended up taking 3 wickets in a clutch performance. So very, very good. And let's also not forget, for those, was it 15 to 16 months that Rohit and Virat were not part of India's T20 plans, it was Hardik Pandya when he was fit. He was leading the side, So that just shows where the BCCI, where the selectors, where the whole coaching staff values him. Now that Rohit's gone, I don't know whether Hardik Pandya will probably, captain for whatever time's left in his T20I career. But if it goes back to him, I think that's the right call, because he still has a lot to offer. So very, very glad to see him. And then in regards to Rahul Dravid, look, it's been a rocky time that he's been coach. Rocky, I say it because India were unable to, until last night, shed that tag of just being bilateral bullies, WTC finals, World Cup finals, but finally, under the Rahul Dravid, Rohit Sharma combo, India get that trophy. Very, very glad for Rahul Dravid. He mentioned right now, we just heard him saying, as a player, he never got the chance to win a World Cup. But I'm sure this is very, very sweet for him. And we saw it, the way he was jumping around, and he gave a kiss to Hardik Pandya while he was talking. So just the right note for a Rohit, for a Virat to bow out. And exactly, we all knew this was going to be Dravid's last assignment, last match.
Yeah.
But he must be very, very happy now flying back to Bangalore.
Okay, I'm being told I'm completely out of time, but so just one last quick one from you in the larger context, with regards to Indian cricket. Where would you put this win, given that India had not won the T20 World Cup for 17 years, an ICC title for 11 years? The last India won was the Champions Trophy in 2013. How important was this win, not just for this Indian team, but a billion strong India that supports this team all through the way? And, with this tag that Jamie was talking about, that, are we bilateral bullies? We are the biggest board in the world. Our cricketers get everything, but they don't win when it matters the most. In all of that, where would you put this win? Quick.
I think quite high, and obviously it's the time we have to celebrate, but also think about the future. It is not that we are going to get the next captain so easily, because looking at how Hardik, again, he has his own emotions. He's a typical, metro guy. He's a typical flamboyance that he shows. Unlike most of the other players who come from probably the the smaller cities or things like that. But from his journey to, that coffee show, where he surprised everybody with what he said or what he came up about his life. And to this point, where Jamie was rightly said that he was it was embarrassing time for him as a captain. But I think right now, Indian think tank will have to think about, very seriously think about who is going to captain the next. Will it be his redemption is also important. From 2013, when match fixing, spot fixing was happening, under his captaincy, there was a blot on his career. Otherwise, he's Mr. Right, Mr. Cricket. But I think probably this win will, forget about
forget everything.
What was happening.
It's wins and such big wins erase everything else.
Yes.
And they're the ones that people talk about. But I'm completely out of time. Shekhar Luthra, Jamie Alter, thank you so much for joining us here. But what a night it has been for India, for the Indian team, in the way they came back strongly to win the final and ending that long wait for a World Cup. We congratulate this Indian team, as Shekhar sir said, that the road ahead It'll not be easy because it'll be a team in transition. But for now, let's just enjoy this moment of celebration for this Indian team. With that, we say goodbye. Thanks for watching.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.